go ahead and open up the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wow, right on time, 6:31. That was awesome. All right, Mr. Dunbar, we'll go ahead and with roll call.
Tom Ahern.
Here.
Ken Dunbar. Here. Barb Gerber.
Here.
John Lott.
Here.
Ken Riley. Here. John Terrace. Absent. Steve Weaver.
Here.
Kurt Martyr. Absent. Bart Dunsmore. Absent.
All right, make a motion to accept the absences.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, I'm going to take the rule, adoption of the amendment. Is there anything we need to add on there for tonight?
I was wondering if we might, we're discussing those, Rebecca?
Yes.
You're here
Yes,
for
hi.
the doghouse. Can we move that instead of reviewing the master plan? I don't want to make them sit, she's from out of
I'm
town.
gonna move that up.
Yeah, just to address that first if we could.
You have the sign ordinance,
Thank you.
so we'll get up to item number 1 in
We're
master.
gonna.
We can follow the master plan after.
Yeah, we just switch them.
Yeah, that's
We're
fine.
gonna move them around.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, awesome. All right, anything else?
Was there a second on that?
I'll support.
All right, all in favor? All opposed? Okay, everybody get a chance to go through the meeting minutes from the 24th.
Yeah, I got a couple things here. Under adoption of agenda, I got a promotion and became the chairperson.
Oh, nice.
Mr.
Or a
Dunbar.
demotion, depending on how you look at it.
Can change that.
And then, under on the second page, it says, Administrative Representative Bart Dunsmore resigns and leaves the meeting. I'm not sure that he resigned.
I was going to point that out. He did stand up and say you're going to need to find a new administrative representative. I can't do this, but I wasn't sure if we were going to, if that was a
You
resignation.
need a formal written
Yeah.
resignation
Right,
to
so-
verify any
I agree.
exits.
Okay.
So maybe put it down that he excused
Don't we
himself
have
from
to
the
have-
meeting.
Yeah, don't we have to have a representative from the DPW?
It's an
Not
administrative
necessarily,
representative.
usually they show up as needed,
Right.
Yeah.
in my years of experience, so they
Okay.
don't make it.
I'm not sure that we
100%.
should say that he resigned. That's all.
No, I would not.
I say maybe excused himself from the meeting.
We could just say leaves meeting at
Yeah,
7:31.
about the
Sure.
meeting
Does
early,
that sound good to
that's fine.
everybody?
Yeah,
Let's make it that then.
I'm not sure about that, so. Okay, that's
Yeah, I didn't
all.
really, I'm like, he resigned? When did he do that? And you see it's in bold letter too, like.
I put it in bold so we would all find it, yeah. Didn't want anyone to feel like that was just being snuck in there.
Here it is.
There.
Mr. Torres, how are you? Where'd you find your packet? Underneath the dog bed?
They were tricky this go around.
Well, no, mine was on the table and my wife decided to put it with all my empty packet sleeves that I had on the table.
Do we have to have a motion to amend that, the minutes?
I believe.
Yeah,
Approve it as
we were
amended.
just going through everything else. I haven't even made a motion yet. I didn't know if you had other corrections that you needed to make. So if not, then I'll make a motion to accept the approval of the minutes from the 24th of April with corrections.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And motion carries on that. And today we have a very special meeting. Today we have citizens. So this is a place where you get to speak up.
Well, this is, it's non-agenda items.
This is citizens.
Oh, it's
Agenda
both. Never
or-
mind. I table.
It is, it's
My
okay.
part, my fault.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Kyle, would you like to go first since you were the first in your Kyle and Mark?
Yeah,
Just state your name and
Kyle Slifgill. I live here in town. I also run a business in town here. We do equipment repair and welding. I am wanting to buy a piece of property on a 19 and put a building there, a shop. And, that's it, right? I mean,
Well, I don't think so.
okay.
college friend of mine, finest young man, I'd like to see him succeed. I offered to bring in to help him, have an excavator to help clean up that burnt down barn, have a skid steer to help pick it up. And the concern is that before he purchases the property, he wants to make sure that he's going to be able to build on the property. There's currently a slab on the property, and a sliver of that slab is on a FEMA map that shows a 100-year floodplain. Most of it is south of the majority, 85, if I say 85% on the floodplain map, I'd be probably generous, is not in the floodplain. There's 300 and some amp service already to the barn that was burnt down on the southwest corner. Kyle is interested in either utilizing the slab, the powers are already there, and clean it up, use what he can, and if he has to extend the slab or build something up, he's really not sure. He's working on getting a topo map or working with, making a few phone calls to make sure he's within his boundaries to build. But before he purchases the land, he would like to make sure that he's going to have the city's blessing to build there, for one, before he buys it, because it would hurt him if he bought it and then was not able to build on it. And note also where it is kind of wet down there, the drains, when I walked it, when Kyle showed me around, it looks like drains ain't been cleaned out in forever and things like that, that would help. You know, there's also a house there and stuff like that at one point in time, and there's sewer and water already going pretty close to all that. You know, there's 2 entrances to his property that he's interested in. And so everything seems really good. It's just that one sliver, and I probably have a map if anybody wants to see it, what I'm talking about, to show you.
I think.
Are we talking just right here, right?
Yeah.
Right there by the,
Yeah.
that'll run down.
Because we already split that.
Yeah, that's right on that
already
split
been
property,
so
that's the south
He's
end.
talking about purchasing the other part.
The south side.
The south side.
Yeah, portion that's.
The south side that's
Right.
out of the flood.
I did.
But there is a sliver of that floodplain that comes over that property line. And that was, there's an existing slab where there used to be a welding shop there.
Well, no, Mark.
I'd like to build
Mark
on
sent it to
that.
me.
Okay, yeah, you can throw.
They want to be able to utilize
Yeah, well, I
that
gotta
slab.
download it.
Yeah, reuse it.
While everybody's talking.
If I have to, if that floodplain map comes into that slab 10 feet, 15, 20 feet, I'm okay with going from that line south. And say I go, if I lose 20 feet of that slab, I'd like to keep the remaining 60 feet and then add another 20 feet to the south side away from the floodplain.
I think our only, well, we all know our offsets now, but we've learned those. So here's, I don't know, we have to see the plan when it gets to that point, but that's
Well,
all.
there's no offsets
Gotta
really
maintain the
involved.
setback and everything, that's all.
Yeah, that would be for other buildings.
Gotcha, so there's nothing else
Back
there.
no, there isn't. This is basically is a ruin.
Yeah, you know, if I may add, you know, as we're just trying to cover his bases.
Sure.
And I spoke to a couple of my associates that are in commercial buildings, things like that, and a couple of things which may or not make any sense to you folks. If he had to, and that sliver of that map does become a problem, one of the suggestions or options that he would have, and it might not be with the city, but he can, if he just splits that one more time outside of the floodplain and he builds on the south side and there's nothing in question. His issue, being that he's looking at securing his own financing and it's not government finance, he was not going to be forced to any like floodplain insurance or anything along those lines, but just covering him so he has success, he has an exit strategy, you know, in case he moves on and he, you know, outgrows his facility or whatever those reasons are, and whatever property's in there doesn't become a negative for him. Just trying to look at the best way to handle it. So if you guys could pull up that map, I'll show you.
Yeah.
And then it would have plenty of frontage, and then from there, it would be just a complete moot point where the facilities are. And you guys are the professionals, and they might have a better way about going about your suggestions. You know, but getting engineers building this up, and this is just, it'll get a little complicated for him, you know, and costly, you know, so. I'll show you one as a possible solution. So if you did split it, he'd own both pieces, build utilize it or, but the building itself would be completely out of it, and then you don't have to worry about a backlash in the future. That is a possibility.
This one I just sent. Let's see.
Kyle, are you involved in any kind of like a federally wrapped up mortgage or financing? I really don't think you have any concerns at all. And, I looked up the map, and there's a little AE designation on there.
Correct.
So there's 4 or 5 with FEMA, like one, are you in a hurricane alley, degrees of liability basically. And that was all that I saw for that. It's very minimal. So I mean, it's just up to your call. You want to build on it. I don't take my word for it, but I mean, the way I understood it, if I was reading it and I was in your shoes, I would be comfortable saying I could build where I want, whether I want to insure it or not. The lender, he might have something to say, and I would have put that question to him, some little bits over there, is that going to affect, do I have to get flood insurance, or even if you don't, I certainly probably would mention it so they don't find out after the fact. But if they're all right with loaning you money, if you're borrowing money from anybody through any fashion,
Isn't it right here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right there.
Right there.
Tom, are you able to put an overlay on for the 100-year flood map?
No, I was trying to box it around. The picture that you sent me, it didn't for some reason. I can't download
I'll
it.
show you anyway
Here.
the best I can.
Laser.
Oh, okay,
There
sorry.
you go.
Look at fancy.
So let me move it down to the
Push the
center.
button?
Yeah, the yellow button.
Yellow button. So, this is the old barn right here, behind these trees. And the flood map goes something like this is wet, it's pretty wet here. This is where you did the split.
Yep.
And the little tail comes like this. It just goes into this area, probably like right around here. And then it comes out like this. So, being that, and it heads back this way. So, if it isn't, this is like something I really don't know anything about, right? Like, I don't know if you need to bring any earth, or I'm not even saying just required to bring in earth. If he chose to kind of make that drive a little different, or the entrance way, is this floodplain going to give him any grief? And if there is an issue, when you guys split it, there would be 75 feet here, and you could potentially alleviate, maybe, if you did split it again, it might be the easiest way to get this main parcel out of the 100-year flood completely. And when he does it, then he doesn't have to worry about anything being in there. Because right now, that even though there's just, the way I understand it, and I could be mistaken, is that even because he is a little bit in a floodplain here, 100-year floodplain, it's related to his entire parcel. So, it might be in his advantage. I mean, it's just an option, and this cleans up the whole mess. And maybe there's people that are more familiar
I
with
get what you're
this.
saying, yeah, you're saying if he splits it again, then all the floodplain will be on a separate parcel.
Yeah.
So therefore, it doesn't have anything, doesn't interfere with anything.
Right, and then if he wanted to exit again, move on, and then he doesn't have to market his building and his investment in there. It's not, his building is not in a floodplain at all. Maybe it matters, maybe it don't, but you can't be too paranoid when it comes to this kind of stuff, right? So, just another option. And then, like, right here's where his power's in. He's got drain right here, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
Right where the house is. So if he had to, he wants to use the existing pad. Of course, it needs to be cleaned up and inspected a little bit better. It's covered in a burnt down barn, right, or a smashed down barn, so that needs to be all cleaned up to get a better handle on it, and he might be pouring cement anyway. And if he does have to, he has options. It'll be split, then he could take this south wall, and maybe that's where this power comes in, and maybe this is where it becomes his north wall, and he pours, it works in there, But he won't have to answer any questions in the floodplain, if that's a thing. And I don't
You know how many
know.
acres it is by any chance?
Here you go.
Isn't it?
Eric, you got
Five.
something?
4.8.
Yeah, it's almost
I think.
five.
Eric had a question.
So it says flood zone X. for that property, which means you're outside the 500-year flood zone?
I think it's AE.
It's AE is a designation.
It says flood zone X right here.
I looked, what site are you on?
81-300 Main Street, that property?
Right here.
Lot 64, subdivision assessors of Memphis, flood zone X. Flood zone X means the area determined to be outside the 500-year floodplain protected by levee from 100-year flood. That's what it says. I know if you fill in wetland, you have to make it wetland somewhere else, but I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, is it declared wetland though, or is it just flood?
I don't know. I have no
There's a
idea. I'm
difference.
just telling you what I
Yeah.
know.
Excellent.
So that's one thing you gotta check, make sure it's not
Just says
the
AE here.
declared wetland,
So
because
that's
then you got the
good.
DNR
So
getting
it's
involved.
Yeah.
And they'll want you to relocate.
To our knowledge,
that.
it wasn't, it was just floodplain.
Yeah.
What site are you on there?
I just got it from Jason. I'm not on site.
Oh, okay. I looked up the FEMA site last night on it, and that was the AE designation that they had on a couple of different ones about it.
This is from FEMA.gov, the 500-year floodplain protected by levee from 100-year floods. What that's-
Well, they do have in that small print there, those plans are amendable and then change occasionally, so that's the latest one.
That's even better.
Completely non-issue.
Right.
Well, regardless, I still think it's your call. You know, if you were just regarding insurance and so.
Yeah, that's the problem usually is the insurance. If you want to get insured, you may have to pay extra. You may want to get federal flood insurance. I don't know what you're going to have there.
Right.
But I know if you fill in wetlands, you normally have to replace it. We had to actually replace some over here when we widen the road.
How do you replace them? Like, how do you replace a road out there?
Fill in one hole and dig
You have to
another.
create You have to
DNR usually
create
gets
wetlands
wetlands on
somewhere else on your property or nearby.
Oh, okay, exchange it kind of a thing?
Yeah.
I see, big.
I don't know, if it's just a small little section, it may not be that big of a deal. I don't know that, I don't know anything about that though.
Yeah, it was just a sliver.
And as far as building up, Kyle, my understanding, again, I'm just giving you my layman's opinion. As long as you're not putting in berms where you're forcing water onto a neighbor's property,
Right.
that's not an issue there either. So it's a matter of converting or even building up a road, but I don't see,
Yeah, and even walking that property, at that elevation, it does, where the separate set of property is, the one next to me, it does drop. And I'm on the high end.
you can see it right where the open space is, it's been like that for
Zoom in, I guess.
decades and decades. So I don't think you're liable to get that flooded out anytime soon, so it could be either the 100-year plain or the 500, I'm sure. It's a detail you have to pin down. And of course, if you ever really wanted to get detailed, you would hire a civil engineering service and have them come out there and shoot elevations, and they're the guys that are in touch with all the latest laws, and they can tell you exactly what's going on, but do you need to do that expense? That's, again, that's something that's up to you, but I happened to run into Mel today, I had to talk to him about something else, mentioned this to him, and, he doesn't really see much of an issue, the way that we discussed it either. Putting up a commercial building, you just have to submit a building plan, fill out the paperwork that we have at the city office, and then it would come back before the planning commission. I don't really, we're encouraged to see people, investing in the city, so.
Yeah.
How's that slab over there? Is it still pretty solid?
Yes,
And
yes, it's nice. Just be a nice piece of property to get that all cleaned up.
Yeah, it is. I watched it years ago, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it's a nice piece of property,
Yeah.
but it needs a lot of cleanup.
Mel told me that when he was a kid, the guy who had that was a welder.
Yeah, it was a welding shop, yeah.
obviously somebody parked something wrong and burned it down.
Well, I mean,
Well, that one didn't burn down.
Oh, just
it
left
fell-
it.
Yeah, the house that was there did.
Okay.
it's got a 320, that's the biggest service you can.
You already talked to a real estate agent in regards to it?
Electrical
and-
services. It's got
He's all set to go.
I'm all set to go.
That's
I wanted to
a
get-
great service for what he needs.
Just wants to get everybody's blessing before he moves forward.
Yeah, he's good.
Do we need to vote on that, or is that just something just?
No, I don't
I
think we have
don't
any
think
issue.
there's anything to vote on.
Yeah, I don't see an issue
We would
with
make
it.
that decision, he just gotta make sure he gets a plan and submits it for
Yeah,
a
submits
permit
it for-
and gets it approved.
Yeah.
I don't see any issue, it's a positive thing for the city, so.
Mhm.
um,
You could ask Mel exactly how much detail he wants. You know, a lot of people don't go into a lot of detail with sketches and so forth, some do. But just check with him how much he wants to see. Probably just
There you
basic
go, Mark, you go to
location.
your CAD design and do all that.
We can.
Give it to them, submit it to Mel, let them take a look
I don't think I
over it.
forgot how to do all that then.
I don't hear.
Yeah, let's see it get started, you know, get underway.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you guys, all of you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming in about it. Little did I know when Mark called me on, I said, yeah, my friend Kyle. I didn't realize it was you.
Yeah, at least 5 days a week we see each other at the gas station.
Yeah, one way or another. All right, moving on. You guys are all good?
Yes, sir, thank you very much for your time, appreciate it. Oh, I guess, so I just want one question to be clear, because his side's kind of a little time sensitive, he wants to get to work. He just works with Mel completely, he doesn't need to come back to the council next month, you don't believe? It's not gonna be like a month before
Now, he
he
needs
gets...
to work with Mel.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's working
okay,
with Mel.
okay, great, that's great news. Well, thank you guys for your time.
Yeah, Mel, and then when you're done with him, we'll be looking at
Yeah.
what you got. Okay.
Yeah, it's a small building, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue.
No, I don't foresee any problems, you know.
I don't. You already got existing concrete there, you already got water, you already have sewer, and you already got a 300 amp. Service there.
The panel's still in the barn. I mean, it's,
Oh, wow, that's good.
yeah, it's still on the
That's
one
good,
wall
yeah.
that's standing.
Yeah, that's fine.
You'll need an electrical engineer to go out there and,
I need that redone, but the fact that it's there
oh yeah.
is.
It's great to see a new business come in there on the less abandoned properties I see, the more for us.
That will be good.
Cool. Okay, then we got Tammy and Rebecca.
More communications?
Where? No, we still under citizens' comments, aren't we? Or do we need to move
Yeah,
on?
we should have a communications, we have the communications we need to.
I think Tammy.
They're on the agenda. Is the
Oh, they're on the agenda?
sign.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
All
they're on the
right,
agenda.
I haven't had any,
What are we just, what are they?
just in regards
So you
to
have a proposed sign.
Kyle and Mark was the only communications I had. So move on.
Pull up that picture of the sign.
Sure, absolutely can. Where did I put it? Archive.
Are we
This one?
handling them under citizen comments?
Yeah. No, they're under.
We do have the.
Well, we have them under unfinished business, but that's just the court of ordinance.
Are we skipping
Discuss
new
site ordinance
business?
of the Memphis Code of Conduct. Hold on, now you're confusing me.
Yeah, my fault, I threw you off there, Memphis Meadow from the new business.
Right.
We went over that last night at the city council, and it was left where we are gonna schedule another public meeting for that, so that will really address all those issues then. And either I'll give to Donna or you can give it, but there'll be a notice that goes in the paper, City of Memphis public hearing. The subject is Memphis Meadow Site Condominium Development. Notice is hereby given that the City of Memphis Planning Commission will hold a special public hearing. This will be on Thursday, June 6th, if you want to note that. At 6:30 here at the City Hall. The purpose of this meeting is to hear public comments on the condominium development on parcel, I'll give the parcel number, 8.6 acres located behind Belleville Road and Pratt Road. Persons wishing to comment on this matter are encouraged to attend the public hearing or to address their comments to the city clerk. Address City Hall prior to the day of public hearing. So we will be having another public hearing. We've had a number of them, but this is just to make sure that one more time, we will not have any questions about following code following procedure. So that pretty much addresses that. We can't really talk much more about that. We did spend a lot of time at the council meeting last night talking about it. So.
My only thought would be offering something in writing to the applicant, letting them know that we're holding a public hearing to discuss the ordinance. Because our code does say that the preliminary review shall be approximately 60 days, and this is the 63rd day since they've submitted their preliminary review, and I don't want them feeling neglected. I don't know if we have communicated with them in any capacity, but just some sort of, the planning commission has completed the preliminary review and will be holding a public hearing to discuss to discuss proposed changes on the ordinance before weighing in on a final,
Okay.
something along those lines, just so they aren't.
I'll let you take a hold of that project.
Okay. I mean,
And I would-
You are very good with your words,
You
sir.
work with Tom on that one, I'm going to follow out of that.
Throw a draft together and then just email it, and then I'll look at it, and then I'll just give you a yay or, how would we do the last public hearing, as they follow that same format when they asked for
It's
the,
gonna be it, just like we did, it says it all right there.
yeah,
well, this is for the applicant of the project, not necessarily the public.
Well, we are making it a public hearing because there was some gray area about whether we'd had it, so just to make sure, and on the advice of the attorneys that you may or you may not want to, it's up to you, so we are going to do it to make sure that we cover the base.
No, we should have a public hearing. I'm not saying not, because I was advocating for a public hearing.
You just want to inform the builder.
I want to inform the builder. I
He
want
wants to
propose a
inform the builder
letter
we're having the public.
telling the builder we're having a
Fair
public
enough,
hearing.
yeah,
That's-
I think we should.
Yeah.
Transparency, sunshine, I'm all about it.
What, my spitball there, are we happy with a close approximation of that? Or-
sure, yeah.
Okay.
Because you wrote the other public hearing, letter to them, did you not?
Yes, I wrote the other letter to them.
Okay,
Are you
so
gonna get that to Donna?
I'm gonna give this to Donna.
Okay,
I'll
so
stop by
that's, I'm
tomorrow.
handing that off to you then. Okay, good. Sooner the better, because we got a timeline.
Yeah,
As far
I'll
as
hand this to,
publishing.
I'll hand this to Donna, and so I'll stop by tomorrow morning, or I'll just put it through her window
Sure, okay,
and just text her and say, hey, there's a letter for you.
perfect. Okay.
So that's our communications. We did have communications, look at that. Okay, so we're off the new business, Memphis Metals, the preliminary review, we got the public hearing set up. Ken is gonna write a letter to the builders notifying them of the public hearing. Good, moving on.
June 6th.
June 6th at 6:30. We having it here, or we're gonna? Okay. we'll
Should
have-
we not have it at the Lions Club, just in case there's a good turnout?
I don't really expect a crowd, to tell you the truth. They're gonna mail notices to the property owners that are affected within 300 feet.
Right. There was a good turnout last time we discussed the condos.
I'm all right, I don't want you to ask my opinion, I think it's fine here.
Okay.
I mean, if you guys wanna vote on it, you can.
Do you want a motion towards the Lions Club, Ken, or you wanna?
I mean, if you guys are fine with it here.
I'm okay with it here. Might be, helping me.
I think it'll be okay here.
Staying.
Okay, all right. City Hall, it is. On June 6th at 6:30. Got it. All right, unfinished business, we're moving around the agenda. Going to discuss the sign ordinance, 150.006 of the Memphis Code of the Memphis Code of Ordinance in regards to the sign. Now looking for, I went to a couple different sites, I mean, and more or less it's all depending on council or
We've had this
planning commission.
discussion already. too.
Yeah,
Well, Tammy needs to have it clarified, and Rebecca, why don't you tell us where you're from and what you've done?
I'm with Phillips Sign and Lighting in Harrison Township, and I work with Tammy on her signage, and we're just trying to get her some signs on the building.
Looks
So I
good.
want to do an exterior sign. You don't know how many people come in and say, I didn't even know you were here. So
Right.
without a sign sticking out, people are just driving by. I think it would draw attention. It's a nice sign. It'll be lit up at night.
It fits the,
It's great.
it
I
does,
like
it
yeah,
fits the
it fits
the
within
aesthetics, yeah.
the aesthetics of the town, and what is it, 10 feet?
9 foot 10 inches, and
Okay, so it's under 10 feet. Most ordinance I've seen in the surrounding areas, even in, down in Warren, the basic signage is, one, the aesthetics of the building, two, no larger than 10 feet.
A lot of them have underground clearance and can't protrude like more than 4 foot and 3 foot back from the curb.
So so
Like,
you
so
being a
that's
sign
Marine
company,
City.
you already follow the ordinances.
Yeah, Marine City is very similar with the nautical mile feel, and that's their stick-out sign regulations, and I feel like in a town like this, having stick-out signs it's a necessity for the business owners.
Well, there's also one right down the street that's been there
Yeah.
forever, so
And that's
if
like,
there is,
well,
if there
that's
is
more
an
than
issue,
four
we're gonna have to
And I
resolve
did
that
have
somehow.
I did have a sign on the building when I purchased it, and it was huge, it stuck out. It was probably over 5 feet wide. That said penalty box, and we took it down because it was
Oh,
old,
yeah.
so.
And even the awnings, they stick out, 2 feet. I mean, granted, they're not as high, but they're lower to the ground
Right.
than these are, and I feel.
It seems like it's within the code. I mean, it's less than 10 feet, like I said. Marine City,
I think the problem with we're having with the code is it says no
Yeah.
sign will protrude into the
So that's what we
public
kind
right
of,
of way.
that's what it did say, and we kind of decided that we weren't enforcing that at the last,
right.
because that came with the signage when we talked about the
The
flags.
flags.
Yeah. Is that really a right of way though? Because it's up in the air, nobody's walking there. The right of way is usually
Right.
interfering with somebody's.
It's not like Barb's gonna be walking on
Right.
stilts underneath walking her dog.
Yeah,
Right
I
away
think
would-
it's like 3 feet off the ground or something like that, John,
Yeah.
24 inches, 30 off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
that's where the
So
under
this is quite
clearance
high.
takes precedent, like it has to be 8 feet underneath,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
type of thing.
I don't see a problem with it. It
I think
actually,
it adds character.
it adds character to the town.
Yeah.
It
So
gives
it's
that
good.
old town feel.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
good.
I motion to accept this, I don't, how would we
Dude, I don't know if we,
motion to approve it?
I don't think
We don't have to do anything with it, are we good?
I don't think
I
so.
think maybe we recommend to council, they approve it, but
Yeah.
I don't think.
think
I
we
don't
might be
see a
right.
problem with it.
Isn't that what we did last time?
We're not seeing any, I did not review that piece of the code today. I mean, we have a pretty sparse section on signs, and we're dealing with a bunch of issues. under
Yeah,
that.
and so the ones that I've
Right now.
seen with other cities, it's like 4 or 5 pages long.
So if there is, that needs to be addressed and fixed one way or another, but yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, this is far.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can we vote on it and at least put it in the minutes so
Yeah,
that we can at
recommend to
least move
send it up
forward?
to-
Because we don't wanna hold them up on making progress here. If they gotta wait to go to city council, that's gonna be, when's the next city council
Another
meeting?
month.
It was
Another
last, it
month?
was last night.
And then pull in permits, then you got another month, and so it's gonna be
Permits
September by the
already
time
in.
she gets it going.
Well, I put the permits in, but they denied them because of the right-of-way rule.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I motion to allow the installation of the sign, I guess recommended to city council for final approval.
I would
Well,
say-
that's gonna delay, that's what
Then-
we're questioning if we're doing that.
Then how do you want it, how do
I
we
don't
want
know,
it?
that's what we gotta try to see.
If they've already turned it down for the code that we're citing, or, that we're mentioning, I think the best way
Or
forward.
what is the
would just be-
definition of the right of way?
I
Because
mean,
this thing's 9 feet off the ground.
Right.
So what's the right of way? I mean, we don't have airplanes flying that low and nobody's walking that high. I mean, unless we get some big basketball players coming through town.
I mean, I would imagine that the air rights associated with a right of way are the same, right?
Don't know, I'm not.
You don't think so?
No,
Well,
Yeah,
we went through this
I-
before, and
I-
that's where we even
I-
came up with even the joyology sign technically
It,
is in violation because it overhangs over the sidewalk.
right.
And that's where I think in our code, we decided before that we weren't going to enforce that. I don't know the proper way of saying that, but I do know we went through this before, and we talked about the signage.
Yes, it's one of these unending discussions. We seem to be,
We're real good at that.
We're in a pickle.
So, I'm with you, if we can, I don't know if we have the power to approve it, but. I don't
Project
think any of
into
us-
or overhang a right of way.
Yeah.
So even if it's not,
That's every sign in town.
it is every sign in town, for sure.
Right.
What's the
But,
date on that one?
Probably like
When was that?
1923.
1978.
Okay,
Well,
well, that
it
was,
put up after that.
Yeah, the real problem was I pointed out this,
Thank you, Ken.
you're very welcome. I pointed
Quite
this,
on
I
more than
pointed
one
this out
occasion.
in what,
It
November.
was a while ago.
And it was not because I think this should be enforced, but definitely there should be some sort of language just the applicant identifies the city of responsibility and they can do it, because that, I don't see any problem with the sign.
What do you want me to say?
What do you
Go ahead,
recommend?
Mr. Snyder. You're all.
In my experience, most cities have a percentage of square footage limits on their signs, which makes a lot of sense to me. You basically measure the.
Cannot be more than
It's
30%.
10%.
You measure,
10%.
you measure the face of the side of the building that you're gonna put a sign on, and then you take a percentage of what that's gonna be. That seems to be the main sticking point in most of the work that I did before. And I don't see anything about that in ours. Ours just says that you can't overhang the right of way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've ever actually seen that before, but I didn't actually do the permits on the jobs that we did, so I don't know.
So, should we make a motion to eliminate that?
That makes
Eliminate
more
that?
sense than,
Or put limits on it, you know, like it can't be in the right of way more than 30 inches or.
Look
How far is
look
the
at
sign?
the left side.
It's
about
Yeah,
I mean, that's a perfect example of
it's
what.
way out there.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Make
This is
make
an
a
ordinance that was
recommendation
put in
to
in
change to
1973.
a percentage, and everybody will know what that is. Whatever you guys want to make the percentage, that's what I would make it to. You can actually have it at your public hearing, that you're going to change this part of the rules, and then you can send it to the council and recommend that they change it. That would be what I would say to do, but I don't know. I'm just one person.
No,
But
but
if
you're
they
one,
do it
you're
at
one
their
person,
public
like resident
hearing,
of a
that's
long
after the
time.
council meeting.
But even
last-
so, that doesn't
next
fix
month.
the right of way problem,
It
right?
does not fix the right of way
I
problem.
mean, it's off the
No,
ground.
no,
can we do what Barb
It's not
said?
sitting at the curb, you know, where people can trip over it. It's up in the air, like the deluxe, like other signs around here. And
Can we omit that out of the master plan? We're reviewing it. Are we allowed to do that?
It's not the master
Yeah,
plan.
this is
It's
just
an
the code
ordinance.
ordinances.
So the ordinance is saying
You
you
need to
can't
make a
overhang the right
recommendation to
of way.
change the.
Yeah, you
ordinance.
can't overhang the
If we
right.
gave, if we gave our approval of that and recommend the city council to eliminate that language of over the right of way, and if somebody would like to work on it and substitute square footage, verbiage or something else, but we could amend that and just excise that part of it out, because it's nothing, it doesn't really help us.
No.
And as you mentioned, other cities that you've worked with, they're not dealing with that.
No.
So maybe that might be a workaround, just to.
I make a I say we approve the sign and make a recommendation to eliminate the,
I will second that, Tom.
what was that?
okay, so I make a motion to approve the building of the sign, so that we can move along with this. And also make a recommendation to city council to omit the overhanging to the right of way language
Then go to percentage language.
and go to percentage.
I don't want to eliminate ground signs. We're not eliminating.
No, we're gonna,
We're just
more or less, we're gonna,
eliminating up in the air signs.
right, the
Attached-
overhang, yeah, the
Attached
overhang.
to the building.
Correct.
Only projecting,
Oh, I'm with
right?
that.
Only projecting or wall too?
I'm sorry,
Are you doing that for projecting or wall signs also?
wall sign, this is not a wall sign, this is projecting.
Projecting, okay.
That's what I see it as, it's because it's
Oh, yeah.
projecting out over the
Yeah, yeah.
business.
I mean, this would also affect signs on the ground. Shall be located in, project into, or overhang a public right of
We
way.
would just take out the or overhang.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. We omit the
Yeah,
whole
just
overhang.
eliminate that then.
Eliminate or overhang in the right
So
of way.
keep the right of way part, but you're just talking about overhang?
Yeah.
Overhang is a sticky
You just have
spot.
to,
The overhang should stay.
Would it, read the
well, any
language again?
overhang, any overhang signs, that's where you need to implement the percentage.
I think just projecting
The
signs,
projecting
not
signs,
ground
yeah.
signs, because like a ground sign could be flag mounted over right of way still. So in my opinion, you still have to keep the right of way verbiage for a monument sign, because someone could flag mount it over a sidewalk.
Or a
Or right
sandwich board.
Yeah,
type thing,
Yeah, so I feel like it should stay for a monument sign, that's just my opinion.
Anybody volunteer to craft that language? A couple of people want to get together and wordsmith it out. Anybody?
I have some ordinances in Dropbox in regards to signs.
We'll just edit ours to make this work.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna do. I will go in there and.
So we could do that.
How would
We
you
don't
do it
have
with
to-
you, Tom? if you
Whatever you
wanted-
do, yeah.
I would do it with you.
If you wanted to
Absolutely.
look at Marine Cities, the nautical mile one, or I could email it to someone if you want, it's very,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
can,
think
yeah,
it's a
email
good
it
one
to,
for you to
it's a
go
really
on.
easy email, just email it to memphisplanning@currently.com,
at currently,
currently.com.
It's up there. I seen it.
okay,
Yeah,
What?
great.
Here,
okay.
Also email it to the city of Memphis,
also, yeah, and CC City of
Yeah.
Memphis.
Comcast.
Yeah, but Don will have a copy of
City
that.
of Memphis at Comcast.
Then we're
Yeah.
just basically gonna take theirs and that's what we're gonna use.
We're gonna go through the nautical mile, I think that's a good idea, because it is a historic.
That way Tammy can put her sign up and we're not.
Well,
holding
no,
that
yeah,
up.
we can, there's nothing wrong with using another city's ordinance code and modifying it, there's no law against it, it's not,
No, they're not-
Perjury.
But we're allowing her to move forward.
we're allowing the sign to be built over the Doghouse Tavern, as designed.
If we're allowed to do that, as a planning commission, are we allowed to do that?
Well, we're giving them our recommendation. And that's what we,
I hate to have her wait another month until the next council meeting, but
well, by the time they puzzle over this, you'll have that language crafted on how
I
that,
think we're doing
We'll make it work.
simultaneous, right? Yeah, we're gonna do it simultaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna work side
She's
by
gonna do
side.
her thing and we're
While
gonna do
you're
our thing
designing
and
it.
by the time it's all done,
Getting all your permits and all that other, or whatever else you
and
need
the
to
two
do.
shall meet.
We shall
All will
meet.
be peaceful.
So I guess just tell me who I should talk to, or should I be emailing someone specifically?
Well, it's gonna have to go to the city council on June.
We're gonna communicate to the city council as far as the ordinance goes.
Okay.
So you don't have to do anything with that.
Are we having a special meeting to discuss the ordinance in advance of that meeting?
Well, John and
Do you
Tom are
want,
gonna get together
we're gonna get together
and
and,
propose language to the city council. And it's gonna be proposed to the city council, and it's gonna be up for them to act, not act, or table.
I can talk to them now. I can get-
But I imagine, because we're trying to make a business atmosphere where people can move forward here, that they would see the wisdom of just go ahead and,
Yeah.
right.
you know.
but you're
adopt
saying they
the
won't let
language.
you do anything, someone's stopping you?
The
because of
building
language?
inspector.
Well, I just have to have something in writing from someone saying that I can build the sign. I just can't tell, like, hey, build the sign, it's
Right,
okay.
you need a letter of you need a
Yeah,
letter of
something,
authorization.
Mhm.
saying
Okay,
it's okay.
got it.
So the motion on the table is recommend the approval of the sign and elimination of the right-of-way verbiage.
For the overhead.
For projecting,
For projecting.
For projecting signs.
projecting signs.
projecting signs.
Yes,
That's how I.
projecting signs.
Yes, stick
Not-
outs or projecting, same.
No, right, not sitting on the sidewalk signs.
No, projecting
We're just
signs.
talking about
We're talking about projecting
off the
overhead.
building. I'm over
Right.
that.
So overhang's the problem, not projecting into?
I think over.
Projecting.
What is the language? Is it projecting?
Shall be located in, project into, or overhang.
Overhang and project into, I feel is the same.
They
Thing.
sound the
That's,
Well,
those
same
are
to me.
really
If,
kind of
if we're
different.
saying, the height of the right-of-way is not, it isn't infinite, then overhang would be different than project into.
It's projecting, well, it's projecting into
How would
the
we-
right of way.
Well, if this is the top of the right-of-way, this is projecting into it, this is overhanging.
Right.
Those would not be the same thing.
Maybe projecting signs needs to have its own little thing.
A height and,
I think there definitely should be some verbiage about
Like how high off
10%,
the ground it has to be,
Well,
or,
send them, send them.
So I will tell you, I just did this, so projecting signs in Marine City, 8-foot clearance underneath, 3-foot projecting from, 4-foot projecting from the building. It has to be 3 foot back from the curb.
Right.
Those are the rules.
Was there any sort of language limiting the liability of the municipality, or no?
No, not that I recall.
Okay.
No. And then for that square footage, like that one was, I believe, 10% as well. Sometimes they do one square foot for every foot of linear.
Those are some pretty straightforward dimensions everybody can understand.
Yeah, yeah,
3 foot back from the curb, no more than 4 foot off from the building.
right. Now, sometimes that causes other issues because if you have a skinny sidewalk, right, you can't do both.
Right.
So you might not want to put that verbiage in your ordinance, I'm just telling you what theirs is.
Mhm.
Because if you have just a 6-foot side.
John, we have a little bit of homework.
You know what I'm saying? You can't.
Well, we're gonna do a little copy and paste, it sounds like.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
So we have not voted on this.
We haven't voted on this yet, so,
I would recommend we deny the motion as present and split them into two. Recommend approval of the sign and look into how we're going to word the ordinance. I don't think it's
Remake the ordinance.
okay.
I don't think it's responsible to just throw language out here when we don't know, but I'm in favor of making sure the sign can get put up, you know, but I think.
All right,
Okay,
That's
so
fine.
how would you motion that, Mr. Dunbar? Or
Well, if we-
motion?
That motion technically needs to be rescinded or voted upon, but I would say, I
Well,
would,
we rescind the previous motion and,
okay. I will motion that we recommend approval of the sign to city council.
I'll support that.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Tart? Aye. All right, all opposed? All right, motion carries on that one.
And then I will motion that the commission hold a special meeting, 2 weeks from now, to specifically,
Or you could just have a committee, we don't have to all have an entire meeting, because you're just gonna be crafting language you're gonna recommend. I mean, I don't know if we really need to go through having special meetings.
well, to vote on it prior to council, like, if they wanna meet on it and, put out a rough draft, but if we wanna get Tammy able to work on it next month, should definitely have the language presented to them prior to the meeting.
We could vote on it by email.
Craft it and email it. That's what we did last time.
Yeah, I mean, that's not.
It shouldn't take that long to.
No, we all already pretty much agree with what we're,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
these
We're on
are
the
just
same page.
mechanics here, and I don't wanna, add layers and layers that are not necessarily got so many to wade through anyway.
Agree.
Just my opinion.
I think,
Everybody's entitled to an opinion.
does that, but that still doesn't get her, she's still got a couple weeks to wait then.
We can't change the ordinance tonight anyways, that's not our,
No, we have to go through it and go, like I said, I got a couple copies, but definitely write it up and then we'll email it out and then CC everybody on it and then everybody responds at the same time as a yay or a nay
Right.
with your name.
I'm good
And
with
that'll still be a legal vote.
I'm good with that.
And then we can forward that on once you approve, send it to city council. City council can
Do with it what they want.
do with it at that and then, once everything all
We'll have
passes.
something
and then
solid to look at.
We'll have something solid to look at, right?
Right.
does that vote not have to be held in a public meeting? Shouldn't all decisions of a governmental body be held where people can make?
We have certain powers that we can exercise as a council or as a planning commission. Not every single thing requires a public meeting.
Yeah, you think they gotta
Things,
help the public meeting
issues
for
come
that?
up, sometimes that are timely, you don't have time to do those kinds of things. This is a time-sensitive issue. Again, in my opinion, I just don't see any real pushback for this. It gets it accomplished, and I'm not worried about being sued for it, Ken, if that's what's on your mind. No, I'm not worried about it.
Normally, if you move and change something by email, at the next meeting, you would take it up and actually officially vote on it. Whether it's the council or planning commission, whatever it is.
I was gonna say, 'cause I didn't think you'd be able to just make a vote.
You're not doing anything monetarily though.
Right,
It's not like you're accepting a grant or giving out money or whatever either.
yeah.
Okay.
We're just going through and see, yeah, the verbiage looks good. Verbiage looks good, verbiage.
We'd
looks
like to change this, is basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
And it still has to be voted on by council. I'm
right,
pretty sure.
right, yeah.
We good? I think we're good there.
Now, do I need to do anything for the next meeting?
I think if you're
Paperwork
gonna
wise?
email us that information, we're gonna take that and pretty much use that for moving forward, the 3 feet back, 4 feet, wherever you cited. That's what we're gonna use moving forward, I believe.
And we could alter it, make it.
Yeah, we might change a little bit,
Yeah,
but that's the
We might
basis.
change the footage out,
The 3
you know,
foot,
we
4
might
foot.
change
Yep.
something like that.
But we'll put that out, we're gonna do that here within, hopefully within the next couple, hopefully before 2 weeks, we can get that done.
Yeah.
We'll put the email out, then we'll send it to council, and
You know,
then they'll do their, well, our recommendation's gonna be yes, but
Okay,
here's our new,
okay. I just didn't know if I need to do more paperwork or.
I don't think
I don't
so.
think
Once
so.
you get the city council approval, then you can move forward with whatever,
Okay, good.
Get that big fancy sign out there,
yeah, it's gonna look good.
especially driving down there at 12 o'clock.
Now I'll know
1
where to
o'clock.
go, cause I get confused sometimes.
Something's happening.
Oh, that's when I leave.
I upped, on a side note, I was at a, communion, on Sunday, and there's some of the people I was sitting with live in the general area. They didn't know about Sage Creek Winery, they didn't know about the Doghouse Tavern. I told them, you gotta come up, gotta try.
Gotta make it a destination place, gotta have place.
They were highly interested, and they will be coming up this way over the coming weeks to sit on the patio, have a big old pizza and some nice wine, and they're wine drinkers. So,
it fits, it's really a nice sign, it fits in so well with the.
it's Old Town,
Main
it's,
Street. Great.
I mean, it looks like, I mean, instead of saying tavern, you would say
No
Sullivan.
pressure, Kyle, for you to build a sign. No pressure.
Let me know when you need something.
If there's anything like your old truck, it'll be perfect.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Chapter 93, Animals on the Code of Ordinance.
Thank
You guys can fly if you like.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for
Is this the
your time.
roosters and chicken ordinance? we were
Yeah, this is
talking about?
roosters and chicken, yes, I,
Tammy's for one, Tammy's for one, Tammy's for one, you guys get time? I think
So, that's what we're talking about, right? That's what
yes, this regards to chickens.
this-
And
And it says we can't currently?
currently you cannot have
Poultry.
any poultry in the city limits.
So I think I brought this up before. I heard, and I don't know wherever this was, that you couldn't have roosters. Because it was
Our
annoying.
ordinance says no
No,
poultry.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. My proposal would be,
Yeah, right.
if we're gonna change it,
Right.
I don't think a couple
Let
of
me-
chickens
let
are
me-
gonna hurt anybody's feelings, but.
Somebody was gonna get an ordinance for us to look at.
I have it right here, I have 3 different
Look
places.
at this.
I picked up, I went to Romeo. Romeo, forget it, you can't even have a canary without a permit. This one here, this is Schwartz Creek. Chickens and ducks shall be limited in any combination to 6 for parcels of 20,000 and 43,000
So
for
half-
1 acre.
For a half acre, it looks like the one.
For 1 acre with an additional prorated allowance for 3 animals for each additional acre. So it's saying that if you want chickens or ducks, you can have up to 6 on 1 acre, and anything after that, you have to have an additional acre to
Well,
accommodate for it.
that
But
works.
this is in Schwartz Creek, I mean, they have a lot of farming.
that won't work for us, cause I don't think any people have an acre in town.
I think this
I got 2,
one,
but not many.
I said there's not very many people, no.
this one here, this is the keeping of chickens, any person, can you guys read that?
Yep.
Any person who keeps chickens in the city shall obtain a permit from the city and may keep not more than 3 hens in the city for personal use only and not for any business or commercial use.
See, that one makes sense to me.
That one absolutely makes sense to me.
So there's hens, no roosters, cause that's the only complaint. Illegally, when I lived in Armada, right in town, the lady next to me had chickens, and they never bothered me at all. But then she got a rooster, and then they called the cop, they called on her, and she got in trouble.
All of the ordinances, the ones that I went through, I mean, like I said, because I spent half of my day today, because I got through my runs and kind of burned some time off. Like here, like I said, a person who keeps hens and chickens have to comply with these requirements. Have a valid permit, keep no more than 3 at any time, roosters or male chickens are prohibited.
Why is it limited to 3 though?
Yeah, I go at least 4, cause you.
Yeah.
Right, these are
Well,
just
There's the
guidelines.
other side of things too. So on a city lot, maybe in town, 3 or 4, but I got 6 acres
Absolutely.
in the city. So why would I be restricted to
This
Three
is just, these
chickens.
are just guidelines.
Yeah, we can discuss,
It
because I
should be
said,
by a lot size.
any of us know too,
Right,
if you ever
we
had
can do
chickens, you can buy 10 and you're gonna end up with 4. So,
Right, oh, okay.
If you're getting 3, you might only have 1.
Exactly.
I mean, sitting right
So
here,
I'm just saying that's something to consider as well.
Yes.
Some of these people have 2 acres, 3 acres, and some people have a 40 by 60 lot.
Right.
Postage stamp.
Well,
So
Tom,
you're-
Tom had a formula up there, you know, for every additional
right, and you know,
20,000 or acre,
Every
additional
acre,
X amount of birds.
additional.
Oh, okay,
we can modify.
cool.
I mean, here, this
Perfect.
also talks about enclosures. For purposes of this section, backyard means a portion of a lot enclosed by the property's rear lot line and the side lots. So, but it's also saying here, the enclosed structure shall not be located closer than 10 feet to any property line of an adjacent property. So, I mean, I have a 1/4 acre down here. I have an old pool area. I can put a chicken coop there. My friend lives in Riley off of Huff. He actually has a chicken coop that's pretty fair size, but he has like 5 or 10 acres, I think. No, he has 2.5, I'm sorry. So, I mean, these are just examples that I was looking up. Romeo, I mean, literally, you can't have anything there without them taking money
Are
from you.
we gonna do the permit thing? I mean, is that,
Just so
I
we know over there.
yeah,
think that's a
And
great
if you find something
idea.
out,
It's-
compliance, you gotta get a permit.
is it gonna be a paid
Yes.
permit or is it just gonna be a permit?
Like I said, I forgot who these were. I forgot the time when I saved it. I was like saving it.
Maybe make it a minimal.
This one's in regards to the village
Yes.
small domestic
Yeah,
animals, dogs, or
something
cats.
like that, yeah. I mean, the chickens are cost us money.
How many dogs, there's something in the ordinance about the number of dogs.
Yeah, 4 dogs.
Oh, this was Romeo's. I'm sorry. Poultry is not limited to chickens, guinea fowl, turkeys, blah blah blah. Anybody who knows they're keeping an exotic animal has 30 days to relocate them.
These ordinances have never been
So
enforced
they
ever.
are big into that.
I think we just hit the high points. We wanna
I have neighbors
bunch of
across the
stuff.
street.
Good
Yeah, I
closures,
mean, but
Setback,
Oh, yeah.
like a property
2
line.
doors down,
Good.
neighbors.
right, I think keeping a property line is good. An enclosure, an inside enclosure, but with also a free an open run. A friend of mine has chickens in Wixom, and he has a fair size building, and he actually has an enclosed chicken run.
Yeah, they can't be free range. We have
They
to
cannot be
stipulate
free
that.
range.
Well,
in the
yeah, you
city.
can't have free chickens in the city.
Well, I know they'll be in the road.
Yeah, there'll
So
be people,
they have
they'll
to
be chasing kids down going to school.
Right.
Closed run.
Right, so I think,
Close the top of it off too, to keep the hawks off, because that's a problem.
I don't see a problem like allowing, but we have to come up with some type of verbiage. I can email these for ideas in regards to what we
Well,
want,
I'll
depending.
volunteer to be on a subcommittee with a couple other people that work on this.
Okay,
I
I don't-
I need a hard, I'm old fashioned, I need hard, I can't look at something on a screen and figure this out. I need paper copies of all this stuff, so I can,
I can email those to you.
okay,
That's not a problem.
okay.
So you wanna work on that?
I mean, I can review it and.
Well, I mean, we'll get to work as a subcommittee, bring our findings to the whole.
I'm just, I wonder who's gonna enforce this.
Our
have an enforcement
compliance
officer.
officer.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
have a plan. That's where I like
I
the
have
idea.
chickens running around my yard every day, nobody enforces that.
Well, all you have to do is talk to Donna and tell her to get in touch with Tom.
I mean,
I did it.
I'm not gonna complain, because I don't really care.
Well.
My neighbors where I
But
live down here
Roll.
had chickens and they had ducks. And they were all running all over the place.
Right.
But I came to Donna one day, I said, because when I first moved into Memphis, I wanted chickens because I want my own eggs.
Right.
I want egg chickens. And she says, no, you can't have chickens in there, it's from the code of ordinance. Well, a little while later, that neighbor, chickens mysteriously, they had the pools, they had chickens, they had ducks, and they were kind of running around back along the fence where my dog's barking. And I came up and I spoke to the city, I'm like, I thought we're not allowed to have chickens and ducks in the city. She goes, no. I said, well, this location does. And this is before we had a code enforcement officer. Within 30 days, they mysteriously disappeared. And they haven't been back since. Now they just grow wheat. Or flowers. So, I mean, Yeah, I mean, if you and Steve want to spearhead for it,
No, I'm all for.
Ken, you wanna work with us on that?
I,
Look at that guy.
oh, Mr. Riley.
Point that finger at me, I know where it's been. Yeah.
Now, my only suggestion, and I like the idea of looking through these, is the permit.
Well, we'll work that up when we do one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
I think a permit, I mean, you have to have a license for a dog.
Yeah.
Why not have a permit for
Do they got
chickens?
it wear around their neck?
No, what I'm saying, going to city council saying, this is my
You
location.
got a little
Maybe
chicken
we could
grid.
have them chipped.
Yeah, there you go. We have a map, active map in the city hall. We can
Right.
track them, see where they're going.
No, it's, these ordinances are
Some of these are yeah,
antique, yeah.
right, we need to update these.
Yeah, I think maybe just one meeting we get together, we can just highlight the
Hammer it
main
out.
points. We've already talked about them. Numbers, running
Right.
setback, no roosters.
Right.
Right, yeah, roosters, I mean, believe me, I was at a barn, or at a farm with a rooster. I was just standing by the thing, and that thing was meanest SOB ever.
Yeah, we always end up.
That's their job.
My house.
Yeah, I know, he was pecking at my legs, because I was outside of the fence, but when I walked into the chicken coop with them all, he was my best friend.
Almost all the ones I've ever known have been mean, man.
Really?
Yeah, that's how they are. That's their
I
job.
said, yeah, that's their job.
Honest, I am a native born citiate. And the only reason I got into all of the livestock and anything is because of my daughter and equestrian. And now I don't see going back. I cannot stand being down there.
No, I just don't end up with a horse over here.
I'm not, she may bring it over just to bring it over, set it in the backyard, come to my house and you'll see it.
Visiting is a
Quarter horse. Yeah, visiting hours, yes. Okay, so moving on. Final
Back to the
thing
master
is
plan, that's what we got.
reviewing the master plan. Now I know that Mr. Weaver's been going through a lot of the pages, and he has.
Reading this is what we got so far. Real quickly, we got rough drafts, and each one of these pages is a separate Word document. So we can look at them and, well, we got pages 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, 17, 19, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 44. So that kind of leaves us with the section 8, but I'm going to put all of these on a thumb drive and give them to you, Tom, so you can upload them.
Okay.
So then they would be on the site, and when, I may even go ahead and get a hard copy of all of these done. Barb, you've already looked at a few of them. And
Yeah,
edited them, but
yeah, I just.
I think we're pretty close to the body of it except for section 8, and I'm really worried about, there's not a lot of language for that. So I'm gonna work on that in the near future, just to produce a hard copy of all the text.
That's what I really, that's what I.
I think it'd be good for all of us, then we're gonna have at least the rough draft.
And then we
here.
can circle what we don't want,
Right.
and we can discuss.
And each page number will correspond to the Word document. so
But
we
these
can
are-
use it at it.
I'll be I'll.
Yeah, those are new.
Yeah.
The ones I dropped off for everybody today,
Yeah.
those are what I
I'll
promised to
read
get done
these for sure.
today.
Okay. All right,
Sound good? You good with that?
I'm good with
Mr. Riley looks like a deer in the headlights right now, like,
it.
what?
I'm good with anything. Let me go home.
I know you are.
Well, we're not gonna have a tour meeting today?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Nothing. I just made it funny.
Oh, I'm half deaf. I'm sorry.
I'd also
No,
like,
what I said was, I'm good with anything that'll let me go home pretty soon.
Oh, okay, I can
It was
understand.
all, Tom.
This would be a quick one.
I would like to, next meeting on the agenda, I want to do this presentation on implementation section 8 again. I did that a year and a half ago, but I'll refresh my memory,
Okay.
see what kind of input we have from everybody here. I don't think it's going to be too complicated. We just upgrade categories, some from, ongoing to future, so forth and so on. I'll put it out on a couple poster boards, we'll look at it, then we basically addressed each section. So that will just leave the table of contents, updating all that, the very beginning. What I gave you today was the actual beginning section, 1, I think, or whatever it is, I don't know. But
Introduction?
Yeah, introduction,
Yep.
page 2, 3,
Yep.
4, and 5. So I'll do that, and then we start making some decisions on how to put together, get photographs, making sure the maps, we'll have the map exercise to go through, and hopefully have a rough draft that we can, pass on to the city council.
That'd be
And
wonderful.
and also, I'd like to advertise that for a public meeting when we're at about the same time.
We
we're-
have to do that.
It's
don't
kind
we?
Yeah, we do, but I just want to make sure we do it early and often, just so that
For sure.
initially, when we
No,
have that rough
right.
draft, we'll have, well, that's nice.
I said, you can send it down to everybody to take a look at. I took this with my drone
Yeah,
from my house.
That'd be a very nice
Oh,
cover
that's
shot.
cool.
Yeah, I like it, good shot.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Looks like we're legit on time.
You guys see it?
That's really cool.
Needs a couple chickens running around there.
It definitely. Well, at least there weren't any turkey vultures on the top.
Boy,
So, I mean, I could send this on. I have to get it. The drone can only fly when it's under 10-mile-an-hour winds. After that, the thing takes off, and I'll find it somewhere. And
can
all
you
that
create a folder on there for just depositing images?
Sure, there's
Amplifying
actually,
images?
under Dropbox, no internet.
No?
Donna didn't pay the bill, look, no internet access.
Yeah, we're cut off. It's past 7:30, they only give us internet for 1 hour. So you have that on the agenda for next week, we're gonna do that? Perfect. I seen you making notes. I figured you'd get it.
Does it time out? Does the internet time out?
So he said they cut it, they cut us.
City council gave me the login for it, so.
Well, at your leisure, you don't have to spend any time, but if we do that, I got a few pictures I'd like to throw in there, just everybody like we talked about, throw in any pictures, and then we'll actually instructing, because the pages will be a little different depending on the length of copy, and so we can shrink photographs or large
Hold on,
amount,
let me
whatever we
see.
need. When we get to that point.
There we are. There we are. But I think there is, in Dropbox, there is a folder that says for photos.
Oh, okay.
So we can definitely upload photos. I'll take this one, I'll send it to the Memphis Planning email, and then I'll upload it into photos. I mean, that's just one. I think that I took a distant one. I took one a little bit. Oh, that was mine. Nope, just that one. The other one is a video. I took a video and did a 360 pan. It reaches, you see it goes pretty far, so.
That looks cool.
And that, just so I'm clear, that was under review master plan and not comments from commissioners, correct, Steve?
Correct, review the master plan, all running down all the different pages that we've completed.
So now we have comments.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, moving on, thank you. Comments from commissioners, anybody have any nice kind words to say?
Just glad that we're moving along.
Yeah, thanks everybody for all the hard work.
I would just like to, can I say something?
Absolutely.
I just wondered what happened with the funeral home and on April 23rd, was there a court date?
My understanding is they did not challenge it, and the case was decided in Memphis' favor.
And that's probably why they haven't cut the grass?
The code enforcement officer will be on that shortly. Well, yeah, he will be.
Yeah, because that's part of what is, yeah, it's,
It's over, I've been looking at it too, it's 6
12
or 8
inches?
inches now.
I think the ordinance says 12 inches.
12 inches
No.
before you gotta cut it?
No,
Well, the city cuts it.
Oh.
No, it's not, we changed the ordinance for that very reason, because by the time it gets 12 inches too long, we did that a couple months ago.
Gotcha.
So I think the threshold is like 6 or 8 inches.
Okay.
So he's ready to be put on, and any of you, I encourage
He's
you,
put on
call Tom
notice.
Urban.
So
with any
can they
code
go to
enforcement
the,
issues.
can they go to the appeals court then? That's.
No, that's done, that's circuit court, that was
It's
it, that's where they appeal the zoning board issues to, is circuit court.
What's Tom's, I didn't get to meet him because I was not here that time.
Yeah, he's a real talkative guy, he's pretty knowledgeable about all this stuff, he worked in a lot of different cities doing this stuff. And it's real easy to work with the people that he talks to, he's not going to trying to beat anybody up. He's just trying to work with them and give them suggestions, and they just get a letter. They're not getting ticketed or anything, so he's doing a good job.
Good.
Let's see. I'm not too quick with these things.
You're good.
Here we go.
Is that his email?
Well, no, that's, okay. Oh yeah, he was on the phone, that's messaging, I'm gonna do both of them, I'm responding the same way.
I had his number, I wrote it down.
I'm gonna put it in my phone.
I have it.
Okay, any other comments from any commissioners?
Me.
All right, I just have one.
There it is.
Mr. Dunbar,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to compliment you on everything that you've done.
Thank you.
You know, I really, like I said, the due diligence that you show is a great asset.
There it is.
I said, everybody might get testy, but that's just human nature,
Yeah.
you know, trying to move things along, but your hard work does not go unnoticed.
Thank you very much.
And I think, and I say it on my behalf and the other commissioners agree with me, thanks for the great work that you've done
Absolutely.
over these past couple of years. I appreciate it. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Good, 7:41, let's call it.